despite what the box score says, that Justin Fields' ability to negate what was clearly the Niners' best advantage on defense, which was their pass rush, is ultimately what won the Bears the game. I thought some of the 49ers penalties came as a result of the fact that Justin Fields put stress on the 49ers defense. And I think in the end that Justin Fields was the difference in that game.
Well, he obviously the Dante Pettis pass, I thought, gave the team life, right? He was going to be sacked. He runs around and he makes the pass across his body over the other side of the field, and he basically walks in the end zone. The Niners were kicking the shit out of him, even though it was a 10-0 game, and it felt like they were screwed. They had nothing on offense. And then the later pass to one of the St. Brown brothers, he just can keep plays alive with his feet. And to me, I would say one difference right now, he's a much faster player than Trey. Like Justin Fields was a 4.3 athlete.
Yeah.
I think Trey
and twitchier, John, I think, in the pocket and twitchier.
Yeah, he is much closer to a Russell Westbrook, Tyreek Hill, like that level athlete than I think we all have to admit Lance is. Lance is just a bigger, more powerful guy. Not that Fields is small. And to me, he made just remarkable plays that for whatever reason, and I've said this back to the Kyle Shanahan thing, when he runs those boot actions, it doesn't allow him. They just ran some basic like drop back passes with Fields. Now, some of those plays he's running for his life. Even the touchdown play, he's running for his life. But he's able to run for his life, keep the play alive. And, I mean, I would say the Pettis touchdown that made it 10-7 had some young Russell Wilson vibes to it.
Yeah. Which similar to when he beat the Niners, when he made that play, a similar play against the Niners last year in terms of just the play was over, but then Justin Fields beat the Niners defense.
Now, here's a big picture thing. Those plays, any coach would tell you this. I think a good GM would tell you this. People in the league would tell you this. Those are outlier plays. Now, that's why Justin Fields is part of why he's a really good prospect. There were a lot of plays when he was just in the pocket where it looked like he had no clue where the ball was going. He threw an early pick to Hufanga. It's not like he was, like you said, he had 8 completions. 2 of them just happened to be touchdowns. Now, I say it all the time. The whole point of this game is to outscore the opponent, and he's making plays that are leading to touchdowns. To me, Trey, like, I actually felt beside the Eddie Jackson play, and after that I scrap once it gets really rainy. Like, I thought he was pretty comfortable throwing it to different people. A couple overthrows, but in terms of throwing the ball relative to Fields. Like, I thought he was on just a little bit of a different level in terms of throwing the ball down the field, seeing the plays.
I might have to watch the tape again, John. With that in mind, I did not feel that way watching the game.
I thought Trey Lance watching the game was much more comfortable throughout the majority of it in the pocket throwing the ball.
I tell you this, for both of them, when you do remember we talked about this a lot with Jimmy, when you did the drop back, he's going to throw, we can't see the receiver in the screen, I held my breath.
But see, here's where he impressed me immediately when he's throwing the ball at people's feet, like he understands, like not forcing it. Yeah. I gave him some credit on some of those.
That's true, but some of those plays are plays that Fields then makes something happen with his legs.
But this is the difference in the coaching staff. Like, I don't think Kyle, ultimately with the Bears, like whether Fields told or not, Fields like, fuck it, I'm Justin Fields, 5-star guy, went to Georgia, went to Ohio State. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And it feels that, and it worked out a couple times for him.
And they kind of need that.
They 100% need that. And it does feel like Trey plays a little like, this is what Kyle wants me to do. This is what Kyle wants me to do. This is what Kyle wants me to do. And I'm not, who knows if he would just ad lib like that. I'm not acting
I don't think
like
watching him in college, he will. Like, I think he is kind of looks to throw. Then if he has to get out, he'll just go.
Yeah, more buttoned up within the offense. Like, this is what I'm told to do.
As opposed to doing a 360 to try and find somebody.
Which is fine. If that's the way he's going to play, you need to be, you need to make plays. And that to me, that is like, he's got to be explosive. And once they get to better weather these next couple weeks, like, can they be explosive on offense with him within the construct of the offense? Because I'm not expecting like the 360 Justin Fields. Like, we've seen that last year. We've seen it this year. Is he going to be some great player? I don't know. He does have remarkable talent, right? To just his physical ability and kind of innate ability to make some shit out of nowhere, where we haven't seen that with Trey Lance. Now, he's played a lot more than Trey, but just even today, we saw one guy both on the same cruddy soaked Bermuda. One guy made spectacular plays out of nothing. The other guy just felt like buttoned up doing what he's told to do. And having been very close and watched this Kyle operation, I can understand where he's trying to please this guy who's not easy to please. They are in completely different situations, right?
I agree with that. I think what Kyle wants him to do is part of what he fundamentally did in college. So I do think it's part of who he is like just staying in there as long as he can to find something, maybe move out for one throw, but be a little less. And of course he would be a little less of a one-on-one or a 1-on-5 basketball player, right? A little less Steph Curry with the ball behind the line of scrimmage. It's just not who he has been his whole career. That is who Fields has been growing up as a quarterback. That's not who Trey was at North Dakota State, which is fine. I mean, I think by and large, when you are projecting a quarterback, most teams would rather have the guy that hangs in and throws.
True.
Right?
Fields,
I think
Fields did have I would say that his claim to fame in college is that, I think, 6-touchdown game against Clemson. Remember when he was making all the throws? He threw a bunch in the playoff game and the Final Four. That's a long time ago now. But
look, the possibility exists that he ends up as the better player.
100%. He's been the better player his entire life till they got to the NFL and one guy was drafted ahead of the other guy. And Kyle, who I'm not down on Trey Lance by any means, but ultimately Kyle, it's been well documented, did not think he was even in the same level as Mac Jones. As an evaluator.
Fields. Yep.
Fields
was not part of the evaluation. And look, and that'll put pressure on Kyle if Fields turned out to be great and Trey doesn't. But part of the reason that I bet on Trey was because he's going to play for Kyle. And he's going to play with Debo, and he's going to play with Trent Williams and Juszczyk and the running backs.
You are not alone, though. A lot of people, that's why people are betting on him.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. It's not, I wouldn't put him on the Bears and feel as good about him, right? And you might put Fields on the Niners, and maybe you'd feel better. I don't know. He might miss some of the stuff that Trey is kind of training to do. So we are so far from conclusions. When you look historically at how long it takes to really know, and we think like, oh, Josh Allen, it was obvious right away. Mahomes, it was obvious right away. Yeah, well, you know who else looked good after a couple of years is Wentz and Goff. And Wentz is on his third team, and Goff went, God only knows what his completion percentage was today.
Okay, they covered.
Goff had actually picked it up. He was 21 to 37.
Yeah, they somehow scored 35 points.
Yeah. Jeez. What did football team? Anyway, so
Wentz had
long way to go is the point. And I still think Trey, because of his organization, is set up big picture. But the reality exists, and I think we talked about this the other day. Maybe Eberflus is a good football coach. He might be. He's a really good defensive coordinator. We know that. Like, he's not a schmuck.
No.
But his talent right now, he doesn't have around him what Trey Lance has around him, and that did not show in the end. It did look that way early, though.
Did.
But it's an example, too. You let a team hang around.